Okay, so now we're diving into the radius, and we're going to first orient the proximal and distal ends, then go into landmarks, and then I'm going to tell you how to tell if it's a left or a right radius. Okay, so the first thing to do is it's got pretty distinctive ends. We have a nice sharp kind of C-shaped ending here, and then we have this nice circular ending here that hopefully you can see. So that's how you can first decide whether or not it's proximal or distal, because the proximal radius is this circular head, and then the distal is this long, broad, pointy thing that articulates with the carpals. Okay, going through our landmarks, I'm just going to spin it here so you can see a bit better. So now we're at the proximal end of the radius. We have our head, which is this circular disc-shaped thing here. The neck of the radius. And if you're a pirate, you'll appreciate that this is the radial tuberosity, and hopefully that can focus for everybody here. There we go. See, and we can appreciate how that pops out of the radius here. Okay. Moving downwards, we have the interosseous border, which is like this sharp kind of triangular shaped part. And moving all the way distal now into the distal radius, we have the styloid process, which is this pointy part of the distal end. And that is all you need to know on the distal radius. So orienting it, which is everybody's favorite activity, the first thing you're going to do is have to decipher whether or not this is the anterior or the posterior view. The way you do this, the way I do this, is notice by my right thumb here, there's a nice flat groove. That is the anterior surface, whereas if I was holding it this way, it's much more rounded, bumpy, and less smooth. So this is the posterior surface here that my thumb's touching. And then the next thing you need to do is remember is that this radial tuberosity here always points medially. Okay, so I would encourage you right now just to pause this video knowing those two things I just told you, and I want you to tell me which radius this is. Assuming you've done this, I'm going to talk through it a little bit. So as I said, this will be pointing upwards or anteriorly if we're in if we're in anatomical position, and this is going to be pointing medially. So I'm going to point it like this. And we know the radius is on the thumb side of our hand, right? So it's a lateral bone. So that alone means that this can only fit on our right arm. So it's a right radius.